And that means that we need to take what God has equipped us with and use it for the service of mankind. So I'm just going to speak from my heart now. I've got lots of notes, but I'll just skip those. The question here is that Amy and Ije are entering the medical field. So what does justice look like in the medical field? There are a lot of needs in this world. And Jesus said, I'm the vine, you are the branches. If you abide in me and I in you, you'll bear much fruit. And that fruit, as it applies to Amy and Ije, has to do with healing. Now, a lot of times we think about doctors and we think about physical healing. And that's really true. You know, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart failure. It goes just on and on and on. The list is hundreds long, as Amy and Ije know. They've studied all those diagnoses. But it's more than just the physical person. As a matter of fact, that person has a psychological aspect. How they think influences how they act and what they do. So Ije is thinking of going into psychiatry. So she'll be a big help in that area. Family practice is Amy's choice. And so Amy gets to sort of dabble here and dabble there, right? And so the family practitioner is really the person who supports people, helps them deal with some basic issues in their life, and then gets help from specialists. So what does justice look like in that system? It involves the dealing with the psychological problems that people have that prevent them from healing in the physical. So those are two aspects. But it also is helping them to heal in the spiritual aspects. In other words, drawing them close to God. Why do I think there is a need for God's justice in this world? Well, the things I have seen over the last 20 years in Rockford have convinced me of that. Many of you may not know, but I was in a children's ministry to the west side for about 5 years with Pastor Lenny, if any of you knew who he was. And we saw some things that tell me that justice is not alive in all places. To do justice is to love people where they're at and to help them grow from that place. So, what's involved in justice? God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. As we see the various aspects of people, including their spiritual aspect, they have a need for God's love. And that can stabilize everything else that they do in their life. So while Amy and I were in children's ministry, I used to go out into the neighborhood, into the byways, and try to recruit some kids to come in. And I came across a 10-year-old that was living in a dumpster. Now, I'm not talking about the third world now. I'm talking about Rockford. Well, during that few months period that we were there, very gradually, she went to the church. She started way in the back, and she didn't sit down. I think she probably had some really bad experiences in life. Eventually, she was more to the middle, and eventually she brought her brother, and we had a good time together, and she found out what the love of God was. And it drew her into that place. There was a love, I think, that was so deep that she hadn't experienced it. Amy and Ije have that deep love within them. They'll bear much fruit, for apart from him, they can do nothing. And as they humble themselves to that power will help them, equip them to overcome the problems that are in people's lives. Because nothing is impossible with God. Amy and Ije, I love you. I wish you the very best. I want to just read something from Scripture here. I've spoken at about 30 graduations as a graduation speaker. They're all college, senior college. But this is different because this is my daughter. And all day long, I was thinking to myself, what happened to my baby? And this is from Proverbs. Many of you want to locate it at some point, 17 to 21. Proverbs 8, 17 to 21. And this is God speaking. I love those who love me, and those who seek me find me. With me are riches and honor, enduring wealth and prosperity. My fruit is better than fine gold. What I yield surpasses choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, along the paths of justice, bestowing wealth on those who love me and making their treasures full. God bless you guys.